Hello from Alaska, everybody. As many of you are aware, the housing market in Pocatello has, well, let's just say, blown up. At the end of 2016, the median sales price of a Pocatello home was $138,000. At the end of September of this year, that median price is now $271,000. Prices have almost doubled in that short 5-year period of time. What that means to our low-income home buyers is that they have been priced out of the market, and for many of them, the dream of home ownership has been put on pause. Seeing this, we were able to adjust our down payment assistance programs to help lower-income families purchase housing. This temporary product, geared to people under 80% of the area median income, eliminates the cost of mortgage insurance, which has increased their purchasing power. NeighborWorks is great at being able to recognize the needs of the community and adjust their programs to fill that need. In the last 12 months, 53 families have been able to utilize one of our down payment assistance products so that they are able to still become homeowners. The new construction, or as we like to call infill, has always been my favorite part of the job. We help a ton of people every year with their down payment assistance loans, and that's awesome. However, the infill buyers are our new homeowners that I actually get to meet and get to know on a personal level. I get to hear their stories and see why homeownership is so important to them. I get to see the smiles on their kids' faces as they pick out their new rooms. For many of them, the ability to purchase a home on their own is life-changing, and being able to help work them through the sometimes confusing home buying process is extremely rewarding to me. In the last 12 months, we've closed on 4 of those homes, giving out almost $200,000 in gap financing between SHOP, home, and NWP funds. By the end of 2022, we plan on having 14 more of those homes built and sold to households under 80% area median income. Households that otherwise would not be able to buy a home in today's market. What we do is so important, and I thank you for supporting it.
Hi, I am Jennifer Lund. I purchased a house in 2011. It's been a while, 10 years, over 10 years ago. At that time it was Pocatello Neighborhood Housing, now NeighborWorks. Gosh, I have nothing but positive to say. 10 years ago, I was a single mom. I think the year that I bought my house, I maybe claimed $25,000 annual income, not a lot. I was approved for a house. However, my difficulties lie in, and I looked for 3 months for something that was feasible for me and my son, that one, as a single mom who technically I don't know how to fix anything. So when it came to the house might need a new roof in a year, or it's going to need a new heater, I honestly didn't have the financial means or the technical means to do that. I went to my lender and I said, I've been looking and I just can't find anything that I'm going to be able to maintain on my own. And he said, there's this great program. I'm going to send you to them. And I met with Julie and Mark at that time. And they said, we've got 4 houses and you qualify. We filled out all the paperwork. I took the class, and I couldn't believe that I was going to be in a brand new house. And it was great. I went from paying probably $1,100 a month in renting and utilities to about $650 between my mortgage and my utilities. So it was a significant difference for me. And on top of it, I was owning. I decided then, with the money that I was saving, not throwing away to rent, that I would go back to school. So being in this house allowed me to go back to school. And 3 or 4 years after buying the house, I graduated with a bachelor degree and pursued nursing. And I don't know that I would have been able to do that had I not been in such an affordable house. I still own this house. I still live in it. I still share it with my son. And it's been so great for me. I don't think that I would be where I'm at today and been able to triple my income by graduating from college had I been kind of scrambling just to make ends meet, just to make a rent payment that I could barely afford.
I first learned about NeighborWorks about 4 years ago. My husband and I had just had a baby, and we were living in a dingy little apartment, and we saw this cute little white house down the road from where we lived, and my husband was like, "That's a cute house." And then I was like, "We could never buy a house, you're being silly, we're students." And then he heard about NeighborWorks, and some of his coworkers talked about the down payment assistance programs that they had going on, and we were like, "Well, we'll just go look just for fun." And then we found out it was more doable than we thought, and I think at the end of it we only needed like $1,000 down, and we got $7,500 worth of grants, plus I want to say it was close to $20,000 of 0% interest loans that we don't have to make any payments on, and it's just due when we sell our home. And we've been living in that home for 4 years, and it's been such an asset to our family.
Really excited to give you a brief update about Bonneville Commons. And as you've probably heard in the news, that Bonneville Commons is underway. We had a really great groundbreaking ceremony that was well attended in early November. And so now I'm pleased to report that we're underway with this new beautiful 26-unit housing development that we've got a terrific landscaping plan that I think we've taken the time and worked with many businesses out there, including the Land Group from Boise and Myers Anderson Architects in the city of Pocatello, to really make this a beautiful, functional development that the community is going to love. That I think bringing 26 new homes that are a little bit more attainable for people is something that Pocatello really needs. And what excites me, I think, the most with this is that not only are we providing some new attainable housing, that we're doing it right in the center of one of our central Pocatello neighborhoods. And whenever you can use existing infrastructure and roadways and eliminate that sprawl on the edges of the community, I think you should really do that. And NeighborWorks Pocatello continues to be the leader with what we call infill development in the center of town. We've got some really good news on another development here in Pocatello, and what this development is Park Meadows Senior Apartments. We have been for the last 3 years working with a developer called Housing Solutions from Montana to put together a low-income housing tax credit project. The third time was a charm that we applied with Idaho Housing and Finance again this year, and just within the last 30 days received the great news that we're going to get tax credit funding for Park Meadows Senior Apartments. What this is, it's going to be a 49-unit very beautiful apartment complex that will be available for senior citizens in our community that are of low and moderate income. It's going to be located between South 4th and South 5th, kind of in the south area of town by the new primetime auctions. We're excited to get underway. We're excited to be working with a great partner in Housing Solutions. That Park Meadows is just one more example of how NeighborWorks is really stepping up its game. And we know that affordable housing, both owner-occupied affordable housing and rental, is in very short supply in Pocatello. So the senior citizens in our community that are on fixed incomes, that they're of course a population that needs this. So really looking forward for a beautiful new development on a 2-acre site out on South 5th that is not only going to provide some great affordable rental housing, but it's really going to dress up that area of town that needs some more development on a vacant lot that's been sitting there for decades and decades. So we're really excited in the summer of 2022 to finally get underway with Park Meadows Senior Apartments. Well, finally, I'd like to tell you about one more major, at least potential development that earlier in the year that we had a lot of conversations with the elected officials in American Falls, and we discovered that the need is great in that community for housing as well. And so just recently, the city, in their name, that we've submitted a grant to the Idaho Commerce Department for some community development block grant funds that could help us with some infrastructure and some land acquisition in American Falls. We feel like we've got a strong application in that we'll probably know the outcome of that in January, but in preparation for all of this, that we've been shopping around for building lots in American Falls, and I'm pleased to report that it looks like we have enough land under contract to do 10 homes there. So, that would be a great impact to that community. The Lamb Weston just recently expanded there. The city officials are telling us that there's the housing crunch there that's just every bit as prevalent as it is here in Pocatello. So we're doing more things out in American Falls. We've already built 2 homes out there, that we've got another twin home underway. So if we're successful with this grant, that it's looking like we could do upwards of 10 more homes there. So really excited that we can help that community and help with housing and in the more rural areas as well.
NeighborWorks Pocatello applied for CDFI funding under the Rapid Response Program. That funding, we got $1.5 million for our loan program. That was awarded in June of this year. But this is the biggest award we've received as far as grant funding for our loan program. We usually get about $500,000 a year in CDFI funding, and this year we got $1.5 million. One of our other grants we got this last year was with the city of Pocatello, and it was for the mobile home project. And we also got a grant last year from the CDFI fund for mobile homes for outside of Pocatello. So we have funding for both inside and outside of Pocatello and that is actual grants that people can receive for mobile home repair.
My primary responsibility is to ensure our mobile home grant is helping our community neighbors. We have a grant for $3,000 for mobile home owners within the city of Pocatello, and another grant for the balance of Ballot County, Bingham County, and Power County. This has been very successful, helping 17 families in Pocatello, and so far an additional 13 families in the surrounding 3-county area. To say this has had an impact is an understatement. We have assisted the elderly, the very low income, disabled persons, and disabled veterans. From something as important as an ADA ramp to fast tracking a grant for someone that needed a water heater, to be able to help homeowners of mobile homes who are also often overlooked in the big picture of home ownership is truly fulfilling.
One of our mobile home grant clients that lived out near American Falls went out there to document her project and see what she needed done, and we initially did a scope of work and got everything running, but then later on we discovered there was some other issues that were hidden and not brought up during the initial visit, so we had to actually start from scratch all over again and address her sewer and septic issues that she had that we discovered. It was kind of a good, feel-good project for her because she was in bad health and needed this really bad, and being a mobile home out in the middle of nowhere, septics are pretty important. We actually had a contractor kind of step up and donate the septic tank itself after he discovered that her original one had partially collapsed. So between us and them helping, it was a fairly successful project for her, and I'm sure she really appreciated that. Another mobile home client that we helped, it was a stay-at-home mom who took care of her handicapped son. She and her son were the only two that lived there, and she did not have any means to get him in and out of the house because he's in a wheelchair and they needed a ramp. We were fortunate enough to actually find a contractor that was willing to go out there and do this project for her. So he built a handicap ramp. It turned out wonderful, and she was super happy that we were able to do this for her, and I can't even imagine how much that changed her life, just being able to get her son in and out of their trailer.
Well, this year we finished up our affordable home loan grant program at the beginning of the year. We also had a program that we were able to do in partnership with the city, where we were doing mobile home repairs with grant money, and we were able to get some grant money to do mobile home repairs outside of the city as well through another program. We were able to assist a lot of people in repairing and improving the accessibility of their homes. Without the programs, many of these homeowners would not have been able to get the critical repairs done on their homes. They just were not in a position to afford them, the people that took advantage of this program. We provided new roofing to many of the homes with leaks. We repaired plumbing and sewers. We built accessibility improvements to bathrooms and kitchens, as well as providing accessibility ramps, and a lot more needed repairs. I'm excited as well that we've applied for this grant again, and hopefully we'll be hearing soon, and we'll be able to continue the program into 2022 for all of these programs.
Spirit of Hope House is a halfway house, transitional housing for guys only, getting out of prison. And so we've got a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom. There's 2 beds in each room, so we can house up to 10 guys. And again, it's transitional housing, trying to get them back into society, I guess. Hopefully find out a job, and then they can move on and stuff. So.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed hearing some of the stories and hearing some of the happenings here at NeighborWorks Pocatello. That, again, big kudos to the staff here at the organization, that we really wouldn't have been able to accomplish all of this without the dedicated work of the staff. That, you know, as you see, NeighborWorks Pocatello really has its hands in many different things. That, you know, we've got the home construction, we've got the home improvement, we have lending, we have counseling, we have community engagement. So hope this has given you a better feel of what we're up to and what we've accomplished throughout the year. That really want to thank you for joining us tonight. Been a great year. It's my pleasure to serve you as the executive director. That on a final note, I think you'll be hearing more and more about this as time goes on, but don't forget Avenues for Hope, that December 9th through 31st, that we are taking part in that housing challenge again. It's our single most important and largest fundraiser of the year. We've been doing this for 10 years, that some of these great projects that you've been hearing about, that honestly, that those would not be possible without the private support and the contributions from our generous donors like you. So again, thank you all. Been a great year. I look forward for even bigger and better things in 2022.